So I am still alive and haggard. Oh my. I'll get to that in a second. But so I had a few weeks ago I bought this Back to the Roots grow kit, and it's a mini mushroom kit. They're little oyster mushrooms, so I thought this would be a really fun craft to do, and it took, a while. So I followed all the directions in the kit, and then also when you go online it has a lot more directions about like how to do it, and I wanted to do it exactly as they said to do it, right? So followed the directions for it, and it's pretty easy. It was actually a lot of fun. So one of my sisters, my mom's eldest child, how do you say that? Is that correct? Is that what you say? Anyways, she bought my mom a tomato kit from this place, and I realized, hey, they have little mushrooms, so I'm going to make the little mushroom one because I don't want to grow things in actual dirt. I'm afraid of dirt. There's no dirt in the mushroom one, so I'll try the mushroom one. I mean, it was somehow mentally better to me. So it was fun to grow something. Excuse me. So the reason I'm so tired I'll get to, and then I'll go back to explaining this. There were multiple tornadoes in my town last night, which is not something I've ever experienced before as far as I know. I mean, there's one little tornado like a year or two ago, and then the only other time I personally have ever experienced tornadoes was when I was road tripping. I forget what state I was in, but some state in the middle of the country wound up having the sirens screaming, and we all had to go hide in the storm shelter place. And I have found a lot of people don't take shelter. I take my dog and I hide. I don't care what y'all are gonna do. You can Oz away, but I'm gonna take my dog and I'm gonna hide. So back to this thing. You cut the film and then you scrape with a fork so that you like break up that mito, whatever this stuff is, the white stuff on top. It'll actually tell you what it's called. I have no brain left, and I did this a long time ago. Yikes. So anyways, you scrape that stuff up with the fork a little bit so that like it works or whatever. I don't remember. Don't quote me on correct terminology or whatever. So anyways, and then they also say, mushrooms really like lots of wet, so don't be afraid of overwatering. False. I overwatered, and I'll show you towards the end how that went completely wrong. So the beginning of the kit went really well. Honestly, like really well. It was extremely exciting to use. So I got the mini kit so I didn't have to pay full price, and honestly, I mean, for a one-time thing, worth it. It was on sale when I got it, so I only spent like 10 bucks for this, and technically it wasn't my 10 bucks. But anyways, 10 bucks for one round of mushrooms is expensive. So you're doing this for a craft. You're not really doing it because it's like a good price or whatever. So anyways, after you cut it and you scrape it with a little fork, you put it face down in a bowl of water for like 6 to 10 hours or overnight, or literally as long as you want. So I left it in there until I decided to come back. I have no idea how long this was. This was like an entire month ago. Then you dry off just the plastic so that your box doesn't mold. And I questioned this aspect quite a bit, why we use in a cardboard box. And it was fine for the beginning, but after a couple weeks, you'll see the cardboard was a problem. And I will explain why. So I have attempted to follow all the directions to a T. I did exactly as they told me to do. So the beginning goes extremely well, all the way through. They say that you can get up to like 5 rounds out of this kit, and that almost every kit will get you a second round. False, and I will show you why. Anyways, don't take that as like a don't buy these kits. I love these kits, but just no, don't do it the way I did it the second way, even though that's the way they tell you to do it, because that doesn't work. So then here they tell you, use like 3 teaspoons of water, but it has to be completely wet, right? So I don't feel like it was very wet after 3, so I used more than just the 3. And then I just kind of went to town pouring a little bit of water into the box, trying to make sure that it felt like it was still kind of wet. And since only the top part of this is cut now and the bottom is completely still protected by the plastic, it's not a problem to pour in as much water as you want. It's not going to ruin your cardboard. This is still fine right here. And then at some point you notice growth, and that was really exciting to see the little plastic sticking up, and hey, there's little mushroom babies in there. So that was really fun to see. And then once your little mushroom babies start, they explode so quickly. Also, so this company tells you can email them and show them a picture, like to ask, is it ready to harvest yet? And I did that when it was exactly as they claimed you're supposed to harvest it. And I do believe I was genuinely supposed to harvest it when I asked, but I was told, this big long-winded thing about no, don't harvest it. Oh, also you can flip it over and put it the other direction once they start to grow. Anyways, I was told no, don't harvest it, blah blah, and then she's like, wait 2 more days. So I wait literally less than 1 entire day goes by, and the thing exploded white stuff everywhere. That'll come up at some point when it's grown. I'll show you it. I don't know what exactly happened there, but it like spored all over my mom's room. So I'm really glad I put it in her office because my boyfriend is allergic to mushrooms, and that would have been a tragic mess if I had that white stuff all over in here. I would have been trying desperately to clean it out, and then I would not have felt like it was safe to bring him back in here. So it was fun. I'm glad that I relocated it. Also, I realized if you're gonna do this, put a gigantic bath towel under it that goes far, because holy wow, you don't want to have to clean that stuff. It's in the crack of my mom's little table in here, and I could not get it out of the crack. I would have to use like a Q-tip. But they're growing really, really fast. So when they're at this stage, they double in size every day. And then when they stop doubling in size, they're supposed to be ready to go, right? So that's the first thing I noticed is, hey, they stopped doubling in size. But then you're also supposed to wait until they change color. So it's supposed to go to a little brown outline around it. And the cap is supposed to go from one color to a very distinctly other color. So I was like, hey, we're here. And so I sent the picture out to them. And I got a very long-winded message like, oh, yours are so big, they're so beautiful, blah, blah, wait like a day or two, whatever, however it was worded. It's been a long time since I read that. Anyways, I definitely should not have listened to that. I should have harvested them when I thought I should have harvested them, which is when they get that distinct brown line around the cap. Definitely done. If you wait until they tell you to harvest it, you're going to have a big mess. And like, I don't know, is it worse when they shoot that white stuff all over the place? Is it now like, I don't know, but they felt a little bit dry. And that's exactly what you're supposed to avoid, is letting them dry out. So I don't recommend sending them the email and asking if it's ready to harvest. Harvest if you think it's ready to harvest. But look how big and beautiful these are. They definitely got nice and huge. And it was fun. I would do it again if it didn't go so wrong for me with the round 2. The fact that they say you can get 2 rounds out of it and then round 2 went so horribly wrong is probably why I wouldn't want to buy another one. Like, I mean, unless it was on sale or something, I would not buy this full price at this point because, you know, I was told I could get 2 rounds of mushrooms out of it, and I absolutely didn't. So I'm offended by that, personally. But it's a great kit. Great kit, if you're not offended as easily as I am. So anyways, here's the big white mess literally everywhere, and here's what they look like. Is that a sentence? So you see that they're starting to split. They're definitely dry. They're in different color. You can see the like lines. They have dried out. Too far gone at this point. I should have plucked them at least 12 hours before this. And then everything in here, like first when I saw that I thought, is this what mom's table already looked like, or am I insane? No, that's absolutely not what her table looked like. I pulled that little square, like a card that tells you how to do it, away, and there's a square line. So like clearly there's a white dusting here. I'm not just insane. And then I don't know exactly how to clean it, so I attempt to clean it and consult with my mother, like, is it just because I can't see it anymore? Did I actually get rid of it? Is it good in here? So you can see how like dry and cracky they are, and they're a completely different color. Definitely too far gone at this point. Not that they like tasted bad or weird, it's just a little bit of a different texture, which isn't wonderful. Instead of having a, you know, the normal mushroom texture, a little bit chewy, these are chewy actually, I should say. These are a little bit more rubbery, for lack of a better term. So then in order to harvest them, you literally just pluck the whole thing off in one giant hunk. It comes off extremely easily. And it was fun to finally come detach my little babies. They were supposed to take like 12 days. It was a lot faster than it said. It started to sprout after just a few days, and then it was completely done and ready to harvest before the 12 days. So I'm assuming that it was like great conditions for it or whatever. I also had no idea what indirect light looks like. I tried to Google, what do you mean indirect light? Nothing could show exactly like what indirect light meant. So I'm like trying to play with it and put it here and there and like open curtains part way. Like, what does indirect light mean? Ugh. So some darkness, some light. Like there's so many variations for what indirect could have meant. So this is what it looks like when you pluck it off. It's this beautiful little weird globby cluster mess. And then it says to use within a week after harvesting. So I think I cooked with it like the next day. I don't think I was ready to eat it that day. But I did wind up cooking with it, and I thought, what am I going to do with this? Well, I just put it in a normal saute, just my basic usual saute of the vegetables I personally am willing to eat. So I did this mushroom alongside the white button mushrooms that I usually eat to try to, like, I don't know, mix them in there a little bit. And I cut them long ways so that I could tell which mushroom I was eating, so I could like assess the situation. In my opinion, these taste exactly the same as the white button mushroom. They're also a very similar texture, considering I overdid mine a little bit. They're slightly rubberier, but had I plucked them sooner, it would have been, in my opinion, the exact same as the white button mushroom. And I think an oyster mushroom is substantially more expensive. But I also think an oyster mushroom has a lot more health benefits to it. So I literally don't know. I don't know anything about mushrooms. The first time I ever ate a mushroom was like willingly was this year. I started having really weird cravings because like I basically can't eat food anymore. So my body's always looking for nutrition to some degree, and I've started liking a lot of weird things that I never ever used to eat. And now mushrooms is one of the things that like my body super craves. So mushrooms, here we are. Oh my goodness. I also never used to eat like nuts or anything, but I would eat walnuts when I cooked. And then I decided, hey, almonds are amazing. And now I'm like on this cashew thing, but I realized you can overdose on nuts. So I'm trying to be careful how many nuts I have. It's like, I can't have an ounce of every kind of nut. I'm going to die. Oh, anyways, so I'm trying to be careful. So you can overdose on almost all natural foods, especially spinach. Do not eat too much spinach unless you cook it. I learned spinach is really dangerous to have a lot of raw. It can cause blood thinning. I'm pretty sure that was because of like vitamin K or whatever, but don't quote me on that part. So this thing tells you you can do a second round. So I'm here trying to do a second round, right? Trying to follow it exactly as they say to do it. They say flip it over and cut the X on the other side of the bag, right? Problem. How is the water going to stay in it now? Because if I flip it over, there's big X on both sides, and I'm thinking this doesn't seem right. But I'm going to do it exactly as they say to do it. They also specifically say you cannot overwater it and to water it way more for your second round. This was the problem here. So I put my cut bag back into my cardboard box that now has an X on both sides so the water can drip all the way through to the cardboard. It's also a literal box of fungus, so mold, very, very easy to come by here. So I forget exactly at what point I noticed the mold, but I'm thinking, wow, this is seeming so suspicious, right? And I write down the second date of when I try round 2 to see like how long is this going. I noticed mold sitting on the, what is that thing called? A towel. I noticed mold under it on the towel, and I think, oh no, I need to look at this. So I pull it out and I assess the situation, and there's mold all in the cardboard. There's mold all over this. And then I think I need to discuss this with my mother, right? She said it's not safe to eat the mold, even though it was already fungus. This is now garbage, so this became garbage. Oh my, and if you decide to get one of these and try round 2, I don't know how you would do it without like taping the back end. I don't know, but they didn't tell you how to not wind up with mold. The mold went all the way through this towel too into the table. Did I already say that? So it was a big mess to clean, and then I was worried, did I clean up all the mold? I like totally contaminated my mom's little side table in her office with this kit. So, I mean, it was still a fun kit, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. It was just round 2 didn't go well. So there was this big mold mess and stuff. I survived the tornadoes though, and we still have a house. The only damage I noticed was across the street. He's got trees down. Thanks for watching.